This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, good afternoon. We're here today with one of our clients, John Willette.
Hello.
And he's from 4 Points Development Company here in Columbus, Ohio.
That's right.
Welcome, John.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yes.
Peg is off today, and we thought we'd talk to John because the real estate market has changed a lot over the last few years. And we're going to talk to John about how business owners, and it could be other folks as well, but primarily business owners, because that's our audience and those our group of customers and clients. We want them to be thinking about how their real estate can play into their long-term goal of building wealth.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, for sure. There's, every market there's profit, good or bad. You know, we have to be looking at that and trying to figure out not only what's happening right now, but what's happening in the near future.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. And thanks for coming, John. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about some good news. So let's see. I've got a bunch of articles here. I'm going to go fast. So we got retail and factories drive growth. Compared with a year earlier, retail sales, and that's usually 60 to 65% of the economy, grew at 6.4%, which is really good. I mean, things are hopping. 3 straight months, this is a economist at a research firm, said that 3 straight months of strong spending on dining out are a pretty good indicator that people are spending more of their tax money on going out to restaurants rather than splurging on a new car. So the next article, I have a note here. This is kind of interesting because, John, we both like to eat, right? Yeah. Alan, not you so much. You're thin. But it's a picture of a $180 steak sandwich in New York City. Wow. So, things are getting frothy in some markets, right?
I guess that's why you can't afford a car.
It's a $180 steak sandwich. This guy said he did it for the journalism, not to eat. Mm-hmm. He did it so that he could write a story about it. And it's a Japanese Kobe beef steak sandwich, and it's in a little box, a little wooden box with French fries, and it's toast, basically. And he paid $180 for it. He said it was good, but
that's
probably
be really
not worth
$180. Really good.
So what we're saying is things are going really well.
That's right.
They don't always stay the same, but we're still on this growth curve. One of the things that we're saying here is the National Federation of Independent Business reported Tuesday that Small Business Optimism Index climbed in July to the second highest level in 45-year history at 107.9, is within a tenth of a point of its 1983 record, which is pretty cool. And then there's another one here about an Australian steelmaker expanding in the U.S. They're actually adding 600,000 to 900,000 metric tons of new steelmaking capacity at its business in Ohio, which is really cool. In Delta, Ohio, I'm not even sure what Delta, Ohio is, but it will increase their capacity by 40%. And so they're building a steel plant here in the U.S., which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably good. The other thing is strong consumer spending lifts the economy. So this is kind of funny. We want to get excited because inflation is increasing. Well, it's actually good news because the Federal Reserve has been trying to get our economy up to a 2% inflation rate for several years and has not been able to do it. We've finally been able to maintain a 2% inflation rate, which indicates that people are confident enough to continue to spend.
Right. Yeah. I think confidence is huge right now, and it's one of the reasons people release the purse strings, right?
Yeah.
They're confident.
Right. They think they're going to have a job 6 months from now or 3 months from now or tomorrow even.
Right.
So they're spending some money, right?
They are.
Which is great. So anyway, congratulations, America.
Yeah.
Good job.
Go USA.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, last thing. This is the last thing of the good news. I just thought this was funny because, France, we make fun of France, but they have great wine. They have great cheese. They have lots of nuclear power. Other than that, I can't think of anything that's
French
really.
fries.
I mean, yeah, they have
fries.
French fries that they hate us for, saying they're from France. When I was in Paris a few years ago, we walk into a McDonald's. They have moules and frites, which is mussels and fries.
Oh, jeez.
And people lining up to eat some mussels and fries.
Yeah.
I like mussels, but they banned cell phones for children at school. And I thought this is a little odd that we have our kids, teenagers, are in high school with their cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
And they're on it in class.
Yes.
I mean, when we were in school, I don't know maybe if it was you, if you had gum in your mouth, the teacher would come walking up to you and go, I know you got it. you've already stuck it under the desk and it's wet, and
Yeah.
or you're trying to hide it behind your tongue or something. They're like, I know you got that gum.
It's all changed. The only time
Oh,
they're
yeah.
taking phones away now is when they have a test. They're like, all right, put your phones away.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
something else.
But the percentage of adolescents aged 12 to 17 with a smartphone, in France, it's about 85%. In the U.S., it's almost 80%. So we're pretty close. We're tracking pretty close to each other. But anyway, they've taken away the cell phones in France.
That's the way you keep track of your kids too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have 3
Little
kids.
homing beacon.
Right, and it got we gave them a cell phone a little younger for each one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
The first one got one, then
Well, it's convenient,
yeah,
right?
And you can call them. You can
Right,
figure something
right,
out. So
right,
a little different. But when we were young, it was like come home when the street lights turn on. Right?
Yeah.
I'll see you in an hour. Just get out of the house.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like that anymore.
Or my dad would say, get out of here until dinner.
Right.
Get outside.
Right. Go knock the stink off.
Yeah,
Go on.
or when we were a little older, go play in the traffic. I think they were kidding. I'm pretty sure they were.
Right.
Maybe not.
Maybe we'll see. It depends what day.
Right. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about 4 Points,
Okay.
your company?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's very nice of you. Good to see you again, as always. And, 4 Points, we are developers and consultants for real estate.
Okay.
So over the last several years, our consulting business has really begun to grow, where we're helping people, instead of us just self-developing.
Okay.
Building
Finding a location for a building and
Right.
building it, getting investors, doing it yourself.
Correct. Instead of, while we still do that, we do that for customers now.
Okay. Great.
So if they're expanding, growing, contracting, whatever,
Yeah.
we're there to help them on any stage of the way, whether it is finding the site, doing the leases, buying, selling,
It's a fairly
construction.
complex
Right.
set of events that have
It's
to
a
happen,
puzzle,
right?
It's a puzzle.
Yeah,
So looking at that puzzle, we really help them navigate through that. And
Great.
a lot of our customers may have us for a portion of that, or some have us, go through it all. So what they
Great.
get is a outsourced company that can come into their business and help them understand their real estate needs,
Yep.
and go from there.
Great. Fantastic. And Michelle is your coach, Michelle
Right.
Calcasolo.
Oh yeah,
I
She's
like
awesome.
saying that.
Yeah.
And you have experienced some really good growth, and you actually
Yes.
opened a brand new building here
right.
on Lane Avenue in Columbus.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Just recently.
The Point, which is now Pepsi bought the naming rights, so it's the Pepsi Point. It's right at the corner.
get out.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. It's at the corner of Lane and they wanted us to build it like a big can, but it was too late. But no, they'll have some great naming rights there. It's
Okay.
an awesome building. It really is. We wanted to bring a downtown feel right there to campus.
Right.
And brought a really cool building where each resident has their own bathroom,
Okay.
their own HVAC, their own studio, really.
Okay.
And that feeds to a common area that maybe 2 to 6 other studios share, and that has
So
a full kitchen.
Small apartments that open into another area
That's right.
where there's a more complex kitchen.
Mhm.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
you have a kitchenette in yours,
Yeah.
but you can go out and have a full meal if you want. So,
Yeah.
And then we hired a guy named Ketchup, and he is a...
Is it his first name or last
That's
name?
his tag name.
What's his middle name?
Ketchup, Heinz. No, I'm kidding. But we hired him, and he came in and really took street art and graffiti art and everything else on every floor of the building and really added the character we wanted.
Well, you
So
showed it
it's-
to us last week in the tour. It's beautiful. It
Oh,
really
thank
is
you.
cool.
Thank
It's
you.
striking. Yeah,
I think
it's neat.
awesome. Thank
and
you.
it's unique.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's we've got residents in it now. Just opened up, and good reviews coming back. So
Okay.
that's it can look really good to me, and this is real estate, right?
Right.
The bait's got to look good to the fish, not the fisherman. And when it came back, and we're getting the great reviews we are, it really makes us feel good.
Well, and your high percentage of occupancy already, right? It's almost
Yes.
full.
Right.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
So when you think of this design,
Right.
and we at 4 Points did the design, and we have some great partners that helped us put this together. It was it's nice to see it happen,
Okay.
and then it's better that the customer says, "Boy, we love it."
Okay, great. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody's interested in the building, what should they do?
You can online. You can look up the Point on Lane.
Okay.
You can go to our website at 4 Points. So that's www.4ptsdev.com. or we actually have www.4points989.com as well. So
whoa, you have 989 in your website.
Yeah, so,
wow.
So we had that, but yeah, you can go there or call the office, and we'll.
What's your office number?
614-707-4444.
Okay, fantastic. Now, when we get back, our firm, Michelle, Peg, and myself, deal with a lot of different types of companies. We have some executive coaching assignments where this really doesn't apply, but I think 2/3 of our business is with mid-sized companies that have 20 to 200 employees or 300 employees, and they're scattered all over the place in different types of industries. So you may have a construction company or a small manufacturing company. They own a building. We're going to talk about how they should be thinking about that piece of property or that building for the future, where they could help themselves by doing some of the things that you suggest and help your clients with.
Great. Okay.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
So we're here today with John Willette from 4 Points Development, and he's talking with us about new business owners out there to think about your real estate that's associated with your business and how that real estate can help you build wealth over time.
Yes.
And serve your business as it grows.
That's correct.
And all of our businesses, and some are growing rapidly enough where it's uncomfortable, and all of them are growing well right now. It's been a great economy, great run. Things are looking good. And what should they be doing now to be thinking about 10 years from now?
Right. Yeah. That's a great question. And a lot of our customers, ask that. And,
Sure.
And what's amazing, Pete, is we have two different customers that we find. Is one that knows, hey, there's something here. There's an opportunity here.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what it is, or maybe they do have a little bit of closer view of it. But a lot of our customers as well, they didn't even realize there was an opportunity.
Okay.
They didn't know what they were sitting on top of. They didn't understand maybe what the next options were. For example, we worked with a doctor's office.
Okay.
He's a good friend of mine, and he had a few partners in the building, and I asked him a question. I said, why do you own your real estate? And I get two answers, is I'm supposed to.
Yeah, my
and,
CPA said I should.
Yeah.
We hear that sometimes.
Right, and I don't know. I think we're supposed to. It just...
Isn't that how we do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you're supposed to own your own building, this and that. And so by the time we got down to it, what happened was this individual, they're getting ready, they're planning on working 10 more years.
Okay.
And everybody's different, right? And that's why it's important to get together and talk a little bit.
Right.
But they're working 10 more years.
Okay.
And their plan was, well, we'll keep the building. We'll have the building, and in 10 years, we'll sell the practice in the building. Well, that building is a living thing, right? People don't understand it, but it breathes. It has air conditioning, heat. You got to keep it. You got to keep it. All those things, the roof and all that. Yeah. And I was like, well, the building's going to be 10 years older. Right. The roof's 10 years older.
Your maintenance costs are going to steadily go up.
That's right. And what are you trying to do? So what we ended up doing was we showed them that utilizing a cap rate. Okay, a capitalization rate, we could help them sell the building now and how much it was worth. This particular group thought their building was worth about $300,000. We showed them how it was worth over $1 million, right?
The current value.
The current value.
Okay.
They turned around, they sold it.
Yep. For
what we thought they'd sell it for. They took that money and they reinvested it. They got that time value of money now. Then they leased back from the owner.
In the same building.
In the same building.
Okay.
And their lease rate was about the same as the mortgage rate. And they make a phone call now and someone fixes the roof or whatever. They don't have to do it.
So they can focus on their primary business.
Exactly.
And sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it may not.
For sure. So for that group, it did.
Okay.
But that was one of these where just while we're just sitting there talking one day, I just asked the question, why? Yeah. And he didn't know. And 6 months later, we complete this, and he said it is one of the best business decisions he's made. So it's really interesting, that some of our clients don't even know. Okay. So
don't know why they're doing what they're doing.
Right. And it's, I'm getting ready to move, or, we're almost out of space. How do I want to go do this? And too many people just say, I need 5 offices and that's good, versus really looking how their business ticks, Pete, how it flows,
And
how
where will it be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Right. How do
we
you
need
make
to be thinking
money?
about that.
You're right. How do you make more money utilizing the real estate?
Okay.
How can that real estate help your business? And that's what we really try to bring to the forefront and learn the companies to where we can help them understand.
Well, because sometimes, and we've done it too with our own business, is you get so focused on doing the stuff, right, every day that you don't think about things that are a little off to the side. You're writing that rent check every month, even if it's going to yourself, and you just do it because that's what we do.
You're right. You're right.
Somebody told me I should do that one day, and I'm doing it.
Right.
You know?
Right. So they're
And
happy.
It may not be the best thing for you to do.
It may not be, and it's even to get to a plan of going through is because we really turn over the rocks, right? We want to come in, turn over a rock, say, okay, here's all your options. You make the decision.
Yeah.
Because what you said earlier is right. We're in a great economy right now.
Right.
Okay, what is it tomorrow? I don't know.
Yeah,
is it 5 years? Who knows?
And we don't have control over that.
No, we don't. And you look at the first time it blew up, it was the .com. The second time was the housing industry.
Right.
What's the third one that we're not focused on?
Well, you had a savings and loan thing a few years before that. I mean, who knows what it's going to be.
So what happens that really rocks our economy? So, sometimes I like selling buildings a little bit early, right? Because it's really hard to sell them late.
Right.
So you have to understand the trends that are out there and what's coming on. So right now things are confident. People are happy. The market's good.
Right.
Probably a good time to sell. Could be. Might be a little rougher time to buy. But definitely a good time to sell. So I think it's important for listeners to understand the trends and really know their market. That's where I think it can really help them try to figure out what's going to happen in the next few years and how it affects their real estate.
Okay. This is Business Talk with Peg and Pete, and I'm here with John Willette from 4 Points Development. Michelle Calcasola is John's coach. Yeah. And you guys have experienced a good 2-3 years. You've had a lot of things starting, and you're working on a lot of different projects around the city, which is great. Yep. There are a lot of cranes in the air in Columbus, right? Which is a good sign.
Most cranes that have been in probably 20 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, in the last year.
Okay. Well, great. We've got a lot of clients that are growing rapidly, and they can see where the next 12 months, maybe 18 months, I'm going to run out of space. What do you suggest to somebody like that? What should they be thinking about? I'm actually going to get to the physical limitations of my office, or maybe even now people are starting to bump into each other. We're cramming people into smaller and smaller spaces. Yeah. What do we do? Well, there's an interesting phenomenon with the millennials. Right, I think those darn millennials. And what's amazing in real estate and our businesses is if we're really not trying to change our business to work and welcome the millennials, we're going to be adjust for them. That's right. We're going to be a blockbuster. Right. It is different. Just like everything else has been different, right? And that's okay. Right. It's great. They're a smart group, the whole thing. Well, and the point is designed differently to be attractive to that market. That's correct. And it is. It is, right? So spray paint. You may not like graffiti outside your door. Graffiti on the walls, right? I kind of do, but they seem to love it. So, one is the real estate. The millennials are about the experience. Yes. Right, so they need the experience, and so our real estate really has to reflect that. Okay. I think maybe our generation, Pete, you're a lot younger than me, but our generation, very funny. You should play some joke music or something. Our generation, I think we were used to, hey, we can go right in that back of that warehouse. We can shove 5 desks in this room, and we're going to crank it out. Right. It's not like that anymore, and. You don't need windows, right? Big baby. Now it's an experience, and we have to be cool, but you got to be real cognizant of not spending a lot of money. So some of us aren't cool naturally. You can help us figure out how to be cool with your business, with your real estate. I got charisma. I'm not cool, but the buildings we do are cool. So we got to do that because that first article you read or the second one about the $180 steak. During these times, what we tell our people is don't live like you're poor. Okay, let's invest like it's bad. What are we doing? Campus is a good investment because during the downtime, more people went to school. Okay, so where are the markets? Because when the market is down, what does better? Does Family Dollar do better? For investors, does
Walmart do better when it's good? Who's doing good and who's doing bad? So it's really important to understand that and really work your business towards it. So if you're expanding, which was your question,
right?
I think I'm looking at how am I expanding, and then
and I realize that there are limits to this property. I'm just not going to be able to stay here.
Right. Yeah. So it's searching and location, and we try to help take the emotion out of it, which I think a lot of your real estate professionals may do, is to take the emotion out of, hey, I want to be right here because I love this restaurant, or it's close to my house, or it's I love the waterway. But is it really helping your business? Is it making
what's the business purpose with that attribute for that piece of property? And so you're trying to make it more logical than emotional, which is a good almost always it's a good business plan.
Yes, and so you can make those decisions and then add that cool factor into it. And then I think that can help attract whoever you need to, because it's hard. Labor right now is very hard. I think it's hard on everybody.
Right.
So whatever
to hire.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So whatever we can do, and for them to sit in a very cool spot, or to sit in a cool spot, or to sit in something that they can tell their friends about, about this. I think that's important. And we can do different things in the real estate to help this. Paint is paint, but it's how you deploy it.
Right.
Doing it in a certain way, or setting it up with something, or our desk at our office, we repurposed pallets from the zoo.
Oh, they look great.
From the zoo, made them. It's cool on, so
counters
it's cool.
and things, right?
So everything. And they sit on sawhorses, and it's cool, and it's not budget breaking by any means, but it certainly gives that effect that we want. And I think, people are comfortable working it because they enjoy coming to work.
Okay. So one of the things that you talked about is we need to be thinking about a plan. So let's think a few years out. How fast am I going to grow? What is my organization chart, which Peg and I talk about a lot, is what's it going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, and be realistic about it. Am I even going to be in the business if I'm going to retire in 10 years? And what do my customers and clients need or expect from us? What do our employees need or expect from us? What do I, as the business owner, what do I feel like? Do I want to be by the river, or do I want to be in the suburbs, or do I want to be downtown? What do I want? And even if I wanted to be by the river, if all my employees and my clients need to be somewhere else, I really need to be putting some weight on that and adjusting. If it really is a business location, that's what we need to focus on.
Yeah.
And what image do you want to project?
You got them all right there in a ball. I mean, that's a lot of the things you have to consider for the success of it. We're not shoving 5 desks in the back of a warehouse anymore. That next move has got to be it's something that is attractive to all the different places, including your pocketbook, right? Because when downturn does come, I don't want to be spending 5 times my rent where I shouldn't be. So we have to look at that, and we have to look at what's going on. Whether should we own the building, should we rent the building? Does it have expandability? Am I in a place that I can go, pick up another 1,000 square feet?
When my business doubles in 5 years,
what do I do?
Will I be able to stay here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of those factors are very important, Pete, and knowing what, and we don't all know what we're going to do, but trying to really point that compass in a certain way to try to figure it out and have the best goals and ideas is really what we're trying to achieve.
Great. And when we get back, I'd like to have you tell us a story or two about some clients that have grown but have used their existing building to grow with their business.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
We're talking today with John Willette from 4 Points Development here in Columbus, Ohio, and John has been talking to us about, if you're a business owner, how you can use your real estate to your best advantage to build long-term wealth.
Yes. Hello.
And what we were talking about in the break is about a story or two about somebody that you did help through this process, and then a few years later said, holy cow, I'm doing great, which is a good news. What do I do now? I'm at capacity. Right. I'm out of room. Now what?
Yeah, so we always want to plan. Typically, when people are moving, one of the reasons is that they're out of space.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is move to a place and be out of space.
In 2 or 3 years,
Right.
it happen
right.
again.
That's right. And
because this real estate market, it's like the stock market, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
If you happen to run out of space when the market stinks, it's probably not a good move, right?
Yeah. So it's the law of volumes, right?
Uh-oh.
So it's
the math part of our show.
Yeah, it's coming from our coaching. But the law of volumes is, when we're looking at the next space for a customer, number one thing is we have to understand their business.
Okay.
So when we understand their business, we're just not trying to put them into a building or a space or design something. When we know their business, we can really help them understand what that should look like.
Okay.
So when we build something, and for a particular customer, we built a beautiful building, and we thought about expansion.
And this is a veterinary practice,
Correct.
right? Correct.
We thought about expansion. We thought,
when you were designing it.
yes,
Okay.
what is going to happen when you get here and your business gets better?
And it did.
And it did. So we want to have it to where we can put in maybe another exam room somewhere. So, okay, this is going to be retail right now, but this can switch to this space can be retail right now,
right.
But it could switch to a exam room if we have to.
When necessary.
That's right.
Okay.
The basement or the lower level we designed with a glass door to where we could have something else put down there, and now they've expanded and have a huge grooming
Right.
and
Right.
dog run area and whatnot.
Yep.
So we need to think about those things.
Okay.
And I think all the listeners that are sitting here looking around their office right now thinking, is this the best for my business? And, oh, yeah, I am moving or whatever, but need to think that same thing, too.
Okay. And will this be the best for my business in 2 to 3 or 4 years?
That's right.
Those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have customers that we said, everything's good to go. I mean, what are you trying to achieve?
Yep.
And they're achieving it. So
Okay.
not everybody is going to move. Not everybody's, going to do whatever, but most everybody learns something.
Okay. And a lot of it is about planning. It really sounds like you're helping people to make a plan and not just let it happen to them.
Yeah. So,
Because sometimes it gets to where, oh my gosh, we can't ship from here. We're stuck.
Yeah. Most wars, Pete, are never lost by the privates. They're lost by the generals in planning, right? So the
Spoken like a true private.
That's right. So, the upfront, the design, that's why 4 Points really focuses on design.
Okay.
And that planning up
And
front.
function, right?
That's where the money is, right?
Okay.
That's where the rubber hits the road. Once we draw the plans, okay, and we have a good contractor, that part, they're following an instruction booklet.
Relatively easy.
Right. The art is taking what the customer has in their head, right? Listening to them, understanding it, translating that into architecture and contract speak, getting that on a set of plans,
right,
and then executing that.
Right.
So
finding people to build it at a reasonable cost or renovate it at a reasonable cost.
That's correct. And
I know you did this with a client of ours up in the Cleveland area, another veterinary practice, and actually helped them think about their traffic pattern because they're in a very old building.
Yes.
It's not laid out the way you would lay out. If you started with a brand new piece of paper, you wouldn't design it that way.
Correct.
And now they've got this older structure that they want to keep. Right. They also have some room they can use, and you help them look at the whole thing differently.
It's classic. We're just going to keep expanding into the space we have.
Yes.
Right. There was one building. They knocked a hole, took over the next building, and just, okay, put this here, put that there, put this here. So
it was ad hoc. It was just
right. And so, a tech of theirs has to go through like 4 doors to just get through the lab versus just
to go get a pencil.
Yeah, right. And then there's hiding spots, and smoke break over here and everything else. So not that they would do that, but there's so there, you have all this. And we went there. I would say on average about most of our clients when we design something, we probably go through 4 versions. We did 29 versions for them.
You did
of different designs.
29?
29.
You still have hair. That's good.
Not a lot. It's going. And it's a very complex building.
Yes.
And really just trying to get it to flow to where we had, the customers come in, there's a customer area, then they flow to the exam area. And then from there you have a really good lab, and it just, there's a way for it to flow. And what we've seen, in different medical and veterinarian clinics, so it's the anticipation is not only is it employee health,
Yep.
They're going to be
employee retention, right?
Retention.
We want
for
people
sure.
to be happy.
This experience.
Right? Communication is an important thing. If
Absolutely.
you have a group of people that really, if they can freely exchange information and be seated near each other, it helps the business.
For sure. And, when in the veterinarian business, they're making their money with people in the exam room and the lab.
Yep.
And when the lab is broken up and not enough room, that really hampers the business. So we had to open it up and make sure that the lab is going to be there. And just even some of the restaurants we work with, restaurants sell food and drinks. They all do
Hallelujah.
that, right?
Yeah.
How they do that is how they make money, right? So it's really important that when we go into a restaurant client we have is to really learn what they're doing to where we can help them be successful from a developer standpoint, right? So from the real estate, not enough people think about it. We got some great brokers out there. Mm-hmm. Their job is to get you in a space that fits for you. Let's design. What are we really looking to get in there?
Well, and I think if your server can take 20 steps instead of 30 steps to get something, it makes a difference.
That's exactly right.
And if I want my drink, if I might get my drink a little quicker because of it, even better, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it's really important that we focus on I think where you're trying to get to is the design and the planning.
Okay.
That's where it all is. That's where we sit down and go with programming and really learn what you're doing. And if you're going to do this on your own, I really think you sit there and think and try to think about it from all the different angles. Just not
customer, employee,
you, right?
Subcontractors, suppliers, people that are servicing, bringing equipment, bringing supplies in the restaurant. Where's the food come in? All that stuff.
That's right. Yeah. So it's how does it all come in? How does it work? And looking at all those different pieces and parts to where you can really get that planning. And just not that, but all right, once we move in, all right, now we got to live here. Okay, so when we're living here, is this cost effective? How about the maintenance? Do we do things that it's going to be maintenance heavy? Did we put different things on this roof or in this building? Did we use green technology? Did we use a really good HVAC system or LED lights? Am I going to get my money back from that?
Right,
is it worth it? Is this good? So you really got to look at all those different angles and put that all in this pot of chili, right? And stir it up and cook it. And when you come out at the other end,
hungry.
Yeah, it is about lunchtime. And when you come out with that, you have a really good plan. Because the worst thing, these are our nightmares, is when we get done with a project and we're sitting here and 6 months or a year later they go, I wish we would have done this.
Yeah,
we
should have put a door over there.
Oh, why didn't we think of this? And you're like, we didn't think about it. Then you didn't think about it enough up front.
Okay. Well, one of the things that you talked about is this idea of, do I own my building or do I sell it to somebody and lease it? What are the factors that go into that? I mean, that seems like a pretty major decision for people.
Yeah, right. So understanding your plan, that's for sure. That helps. We've worked with a group. They had five or so buildings here in town, quite substantial.
Okay.
Asked the same question, why do you own? He's like, I think I should. My dad always did. I got the business from my dad. We sat down and showed him how he could make millions of dollars just off his real estate and lease back, right? So understanding.
So he'd still have the use of the properties, but didn't own them, and it actually earned them money.
That's right. Now he could take that money and put that into his business.
Okay.
Right? So are you a landlord or are you XYZ?
Oh, that's
building,
a great question
right?
to ask yourself.
So if you want to be a landlord, YouTube and a bunch of people can teach you how to be a landlord. I can teach you how to be a landlord, right?
Okay.
And there's something to that. It's just not collecting rent.
But is that really what you want to do?
Is that where you're making your money? Right? Are you making your money from there, or is it important that, hey, I'm going to take this $1 million or $500,000 or $100 million, and I can reinvest it back into my business to where that's where I make the money.
Or you could invest it in passively in real estate. If you're interested, fine, do it.
For sure.
And then you can focus on your business.
That's right. So where are we focused? What are we doing? I think that's a great point, Pete.
Okay, good. When we get back, we'll talk some more. This is John Willette from 4 Points Development. And again, they've got a building down on Lane Avenue called The Point.
Pepsi Point.
Pepsi Point. You still have a few units left. You have maybe 3 left or something?
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Okay, like 3 units left. It's right on Lane Avenue. It's in a great spot. Has a great view of the shoe.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it from the balcony, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
So we're talking today with John Willette from 4 Points Development here in Columbus. And John, tell us a little bit more about how you would help a client who's interested. Where would you start?
So we start with programming. We want to sit down and really learn the customer and learn their business.
Okay.
With some of our clients, we've gone to their stores and would spend hours and hours watching just how their people
Traffic
work and
flow
move
and
traffic.
employees, how the employees interact. And
That's correct. Yeah, so how it works and who hands what off to who. And we're working with a lab right now. Where do the orders come in? How is it processed?
Okay.
Where are they going?
Great.
What happens when they're expanded? So to answer your question, the first thing is the programming and really understanding. We have to understand the business.
So you learn about their business.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much
And
so.
it's good. It parallels with our one of our clients is an architectural firm here in Columbus, MA Architects, and they've done a great job. They're growing rapidly, but they do have an environmental graphics department that helps. And some of it is this millennial concept again. Is we want to make our interior and exterior of our building, for that matter, look awesome to our employees, particularly, we're hiring younger and younger employees.
Right.
We want to make it a cool place to work. Right. And we want when the customers come in that they feel excited and they get what we're in business to do. Part of it is and you've done it with your building on Lane Avenue, is it's exciting when you walk down the hall. It's cool.
Thank you. It's kind of the Febreze where you get nose blind, to what's around you.
Okay.
People can get, real estate blind to where they're sitting in. Like, this office is fine. It's good.
It's functional.
Right?
It
keeps the rain off you. You're all right.
Right.
Everybody calm down. But it's, but what you're saying is right on. It's amazing what a little bit of thought and process can do for everybody's attitude, for everything that's going on, and your bottom line. Because the key is, I can spend a lot of money to make it really cool. But does that, and it hits a few bells, but does that help you make money? Or do we plan it right to where we spend the appropriate amount of money and still achieve what you need? So yes, we need to learn about your business. We need, and the longer we're working with you, the deeper we get ingrained. We have some clients that are, hey, just help me do a couple things, and we do that. We have some clients where we have a multiple-year contract where we are their outsourced real estate department.
Okay.
We help them in all aspects.
With any real estate decision.
Any real estate, construction, planning, how it goes, down to designing furniture, down to designing the flow, of course, but colors, absolutely. Everything that's there to where you don't have to hire an employee that's a real estate guy and everything else. Right. We're your outsourced real estate department.
And you have the experience that you'd be able to share that. Everything you've learned over the last 20 years, you can share it with them, right?
Absolutely. and that's important. And we bring in MA Architects. We use those guys. They're very good at what they do. FRCH out of Cincinnati. It's really important to get a good team members in it. So using the chili thing, it's to have a good chili, you have to have good ingredients.
You are hungry, aren't you?
I am hungry.
I can tell.
To have good chili, you got to have good ingredients. And so we put good team members around us. When we go into a client that maybe is a manufacturer or a restaurant or whoever, we want to make sure that we're bringing in the people around us that are going to benefit their business. So the right architect, the right builder. Maybe it's utilizing Action Coach to come in and help their people understand what's about to happen. Which I think you guys are doing.
We have done. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. So this is all about the experience and what we're doing, and really keeping that balance between. It's still an investment, whether I'm leasing or selling or buying. It's still an investment.
We should be thinking about it as an investment.
Yeah, we got to balance that out. And how does it work with your plan as the owner? Okay.
When would it be clear to you that a business owner should own their own building for the next several years? What factors go into it where it becomes, yep, you're an owner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really getting into the business and understanding it itself. Does ownership benefit the business?
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Are we talking, we're smacking of a little pride because we want to own our building?
Oh, right.
Or are we owning the building because it's a sound business decision?
Financial decision.
That's right. So that's where we want,
So you run some numbers, I'm sure. You do a lot of
pro formas,
financial
everything we're
calculations.
going to do. And, and some customers, it's like, yes, you want to own, not only do you want to own your building, but you want to control all the real estate around you. Okay, because of the way your business is, we don't want someone. We want to make sure you have expansion, which is a great reason to
expansion
own,
capacity,
right?
Okay.
Expansion capacity,
Okay.
Whatnot. So depending on the customer, you definitely may want to own just based on your business.
Okay. And then on the flip side of that, when does it make sense to be someone who's a tenant?
Mm-hmm.
Sign a lease.
Right. So when you're going to buy a building, you're going to put 20% down these days.
Yep.
So, for every $1 million, that's $200,000.
Right.
So let's just stay at the million. So if it's 10 million, boom,
There you
whatever. Go. So at $1 million, you're $200,000. What can you do with that $200K?
What else could you do?
What else
What's
can
the
you do?
opportunity that's lost because of that? Right.
When you look at leasing versus owning, and I'm going to take that $200K, what makes sense? Right. Leasing a car versus owning a car.
Right.
It goes back and forth for me depending on what I'm doing. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm driving too many miles, I can't lease that car.
Right.
Same
You're
kind of
get
things.
burned, right?
All right. Same kind of things we're doing with real estate is what is it doing? If you're a brand new business, maybe laying out $200,000 isn't a great idea
for a building. If you put that into marketing instead of a building, you may end up in 5 years in a much better position than
or making your widgets or making whatever. And and even investment property, like let's go to you're doing well in your business and you want to get some investment properties in Florida.
Okay.
What does that make sense? How should we do that? We're going to expand in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to put 1 location to 10 locations. Okay. Right? So looking at all those different factors, I think, are really important.
You do work with some clients that have multiple locations. What are some of the nuances with that? What are some of the things that come up that don't come up with single location businesses?
A lot of locations, when we're going into this, I kind of look at a spoken wheel.
Okay.
So it doesn't make sense in my head to have the same 55-gallon drum of oil sitting in 4 warehouses around Columbus. Okay. Does it make more sense to have 2 of those in 1 location that you can, get it to, by a courier or something along those lines? So I think when we're looking at multiple locations, I'm looking at a couple things. I want to see economies of scale. Okay. How can I have a spoken wheel where I can bring more services maybe into one of the buildings and share that? So maybe one building.
So maybe the footprint of the outlying buildings are smaller as a result of having some of the things stored somewhere else, or somebody's office is somewhere else.
That's right. Or we're doing something. So let's look at that. Do they all have to be prototype? Because even each project, even prototype, is individual. So we have to look at that depending on the what's around them and the whole thing, and what you sell too, right? Yeah. We're kind of painting this with a broad brush right now.
Right. But it's very business specific.
Yeah, right. But it's looking at it, it is with a lab we're working with right now is, do we combine everything under one roof? Do we split?
So you're actually having this discussion with somebody right now.
Sure. Okay. We have multiple clients with multiple locations, and we think about this all the time.
Great. The other thing I was going to ask you about is when you get near the end of a project, what are some of the things that business owners get worried about, or what are some of the startup challenges? You're getting close to building this thing, they're ready to move in, and or the other thing is, what about you're in an existing business, you're going to renovate half of it. How do you run the business while your building's under construction? I'm sure you've been through that a couple times.
So stressful.
Okay. Anybody who's had their kitchen remodeled.
That's right. I mean, we're creatures of habit, and anytime we go in and change things, we're getting our house painted. It's 3 days, and my dogs are freaking out. Okay, I mean, it's just going like that. The dogs are freaking out, right? They can't. They're fighting. The whole thing. So it's like, all right, well, we've got to, and I think people are like that too. Several of the buildings we've gone into, we're expanding, and it's like open heart surgery. We can't stop the heart. Right. We have to keep going. Yeah.
You're working on the plane engine while the plane's flying. Right?
Yeah, you got to do that. It's every day we're shut down, it's $10,000. That's real money
or more.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's planning. You really have to know what you're doing. You have to have a great team. Everybody has to be concise, and it's really important that the customer communicates with you. When the customer and the communication goes left of center, Okay, meaning, okay, we will talk to the contractor. You talk to us. If they start talking to the contractor, even with all good intentions,
right,
it can derail what we're doing.
You may have been
right?
going down one path, and
That's
all of a
right.
sudden they're changing
And
directions.
all of a sudden, next know there's a change order, this, that, and the other. So the goal is to remove as much stress from the business owner and allow them to. Your job is
your business.
Run the business, or you build it, right? I'll give you an instruction booklet. You can call me every couple of days or whatever. But if you're going to run your business, this is what we do. So we're going to come in and really try to remove as much stress as possible.
Great.
But when you're walking around and the wall's not painted, that stresses some people out. Okay.
Right.
But at least someone else is dealing with the painter.
Okay. Last thing, you have worked on this shipping container as a living space thing or a business space.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That's exciting. This is talk about trends. Okay.
I've seen them in magazines.
Yeah. It's Europe, all those places. It's very, very popular. Coming to the United States, it's starting to get in California, Vegas. If you want to see,
well, there's a restaurant on High Street that has one with
they're popping up here and there, little teeny
pizza
things.
place or something in there.
You want to see? Here's a little secret: is you want to see real estate trends? Watch what California is doing. All right, so that tends. But this is really exciting. And if you watch our websites and whatnot, the idea is we can reuse. We're very big into recycling and doing those different things, and we like to reuse these containers and make farms, water, living, retail places. So watch here very soon. You're going to see a lot more from 4 Points on that.
Could they look at some things on your website related to that?
A couple little things right now, but it'll blow up here in the next month or two.
Okay, and what website is it, John?
www.4ptsdev.com.
Okay, excellent. And if you want to talk to one of our coaches, Michelle, Peg, or myself, just give me a call, 614-306-7922. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.